recap. Yes, please.
Zombies.
Shit. Fan.
Yeah.
We heard. We had the unusual message from the spiders. How well did you know chalkboard Mark? Went to the smokehouse for breakfast as Eliane has killed the kitchen in the rose. Astraios, I am just a nugget.
Yeah, got that right.
Shoeless Joe, the ghost in the sortier. I got the name of this name that I pulled through.
What's that? Oh, Jackie.
From
Thank you.
as I came out of Harlequin's mind, Fentanyl Glaive. Then we've gone to
It's not instant chocolate, so it might be a bit bitchy.
Penn and Tellers. People were being all moody at me. I thought it was because I was carrying this sword that reeks of death. What is bigger than I am? So I went and took it back upstairs. Even Terence the drunk spider was being a bit muggy. We thought Harlequin had been back spreading crap about me, but it turns out there's a guy at the bar watching us with a 19 tattooed across the back of his hand. Turns out to be Matthew McConaughey, who then turned all the patrons into tit. Thomas, you're 17 and have internet access. You've probably seen a tit before.
Oh, we don't normally have them in our garden.
No, okay. It wasn't in the garden. It was just going across the back fence.
That's the talking. That's here, aren't we?
Were the tits flapping about a bit?
No, it was just one single tit.
Give it a right good flapping.
It was in fact.
You knew I was going bottom.
Yeah.
It was in fact his body tit.
If you think that women nowadays aren't dressed conservatively, have you seen that meme about the 14th century aristocrat
Yeah.
who had all of her gowns altered to expose her favourite boob?
There's a statue of that on the way into.
Oh yeah.
Adrian Edmondson's going to be in EastEnders apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. What a bit of a come down from Star Wars.
He's got to be playing a character called Eddie. Can you just imagine Eddie in the old Vic? I've been barred from the Flag and Lamb.
Yeah. So
the old mucker Richie's gone. I'm so lonely.
But did he get the money?
50,000 quid. 50,000 quid.
I'd like to put 10p on Sad Ken, please. 10p. It's all Harry the Bastard would give me for me house.
Yeah. Then, so he said, all right, boys, now. And then all the locals turned into zombies. Even the spider. Doom, 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 doom. Boom, 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 boom. And my sword is upstairs. Deep joy.
Yeah.
So, before we begin, Thomas has very kindly chosen the card for us. We have the revealing knife. Pale magic is enhanced and green magic is diminished. The revealing knife cuts everything. It slices through buildings or mountains as easily as paper or flesh. Anything that obfuscates what lies beyond or within is cut with precise strokes. We all long for such a tool to cut away the confusion and the lies, but we fear it as well. For what would such a knife slice away from us? What would it expose? The philosopher Timon Green says, we always assume what lies beneath, buried deep, is what is real. But if the truth is actually the outermost layer, what if the grandest secret in the world is that there are no secrets, and everything is what it appears to be? Most believe the revealing knife to be the counterpoint to Grain's idea. The revealing knife suggests that careful, precise action is required for what lies ahead.
If Worcestershire sauce has been used as embalming fluid, do not go decapitating zombies left and right.
Yes. So what's yay and what's nay? So secret.
Pale magic is yay.
Pale magic is
Visions. Throwing stars. Visions.
Okay. Plus visions. Negative.
Green magic.
Oh, healing and teleportation. Or healing and movement, rather.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm gonna be. I've got a gun for an arm now, and I know
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu. So
He does
I know
actually know
Kung
Kung
Fu.
Fu.
I know Kung Fu.
Are you actually saying I know Kung Fu?
No.
So you look around you, and the the barroom of Penn and Tellers, which was filled with all of the usual familiar faces that you're expecting to see, is now looking like the 30-year anniversary for the Thriller shoot. Can
30
everybody
years.
roll?
We don't
Yeah,
have
it's just the equivalent. No, what the equivalent of initiative would be.
There isn't really. I would suggest that Borno Vision gets to go first.
Yeah, Stowald.
Yes.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when they come in for you?
Do they come for us?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
It's not a kind of. Don't think kind of modern, stupid, fast-running zombies. Think shambling,
They're
Proper,
zombie. But they
old-fashioned.
were moving fine beforehand.
Then they weren't zombies, and now they are zombies.
But like, I'm just trying to picture this.
Mhm.
Has anything changed about their physicality? Like, there's now rotting flesh and stuff.
Oh yes,
The
yes,
whole thing has
yes.
changed.
They've gone
Absolutely.
they've gone from being as you'd normally expect.
They're
to
not
see
Normal.
them.
But
Yeah,
they're not like possessed or demon possessed or anything. They are properly not our friends anymore. No going back. That's
they all look like rotting,
Basically-
greenish kind of corpsey things with bits
corpsey
missing.
things of the people that were there before. Yeah. Okay.
Should we feel bad for killing them?
Yeah, effectively.
Well,
That's entirely up to you.
they're going to try and kill us.
Far
do we
be
do
it,
it?
far be it from me to tell you how your character would feel.
Where
Because
are
I
we?
don't want.
well,
I just don't want it to look like we've walked into the pub, shot the place up, and then left.
No, we were in a normal alcove. Or
Well,
your normal alcove.
I think that
behind the
probably
bar.
like the first time I came here, I picked a place that I wanted to sit that had easy access,
Mhm.
easy exits, just because of who I am.
And you always sit with your back to the wall.
Exactly. So I believe that we're relatively close to the front door, relatively speaking.
Mhm.
We've got maybe 2-3 people to get through before that. I reckon I'm going to head in the way of exit because there's no point in trying to take on 30-40 people
About 30, give or take.
if we don't need to. And there's nothing that would stop us once we're out just locking the door and going, somebody else's problem.
Lock the door and nuke the site from orbit.
Yeah, but that's my house.
No, the flat is your house, the pub's not your house.
Yeah, but the pub.
Well, that's still locked in, so you're fine. But I also want to know if it's just this pub or the street or the, you know. So,
Oh yeah, is it contained or the entirety of Saturn?
or like, this is Invisible Sun. What's to say we haven't been transported to a quantum reality where it's full of zombies?
That's true.
You know, anything could be happening here. So I can't. That's
We
not
just
an
we
we,
idea.
could-
we just spent a week or so inside Harlequin's head.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Turns
my-
out this is all just
Would
an
I be
illusion.
lazy enough to do the exact same episode twice back to back?
No, but next season you'll redo it.
Yes. When we run out of money and we do the inevitable recap
Oh,
episode.
clip show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Season 4.
Season 4, we
Oh,
do the clip show.
fantastic.
Or when there's a writer's strike and Riker's strapped into that thing with the thing on his head
Yeah.
and they just show clips.
Yeah.
Good old writer strikes. So, what does Stonewall want to do?
So I'm imagining that there's a piece of paper.
Can I have a piece of paper? Here we are. Oh, no, that's my Starship thing. Has you got no plain paper here?
We have graph paper here, which will be kind of
I
cool.
can draw it in my book. I've got whole pages of stuff in my book. I have a book.
Which is now going to be written in.
I've written, but not as much as some others. So
I have done. Other thing, just a quick one. Every combat turn, new card.
okay. So door,
Mhm.
windows, our alcove, tables, random places, bar,
Where-
Gun above the bar.
Mhm.
Because that's me.
That's what I'm going
Cock
for.
it.
That's what I'm going for because I was behind the bar
There is a gun
working.
behind the bar, but it's the 18-inch cannon off a World War II battleship.
I'll totally give it a go. Prop it, private go.
So that's our table and we're kind of sat around there.
Yep.
I'm gonna, because there's people here, maybe, I'm gonna flip the table at them
Okay.
and then make a break for the door, kind of eyeing people to come with. Or shouting at them, come with!
You're behind the bar.
I'm going to bolt the bar with the cannon.
I think it is tucked in, behind the right hand kind of panel inside the box. Ah, no, it's not there. It is.
So I just thought maybe the notes I wrote were in here.
Yay! From here,
Do you have
actually.
an on? Do you have an on?
Yes, I've got the cooking sausages.
At least you're not boiling eggs.
Ah, Dave, sausages.
Sausages.
That's
Sausages.
how my grandma would say it. So that is so like prolific in my grandma. That was in my cousin's speech. Sausages.
And the four thought to think, I take these back to school tomorrow. I may not have time to cook at 6. Let's cook them now and we heat them tomorrow.
Okay, I'd like you to make, first of all, a physical check.
Mhm.
Physicality or physical?
Well, physicality is a pool that you can use, yeah.
Yep, so physicality check to throw the table.
I just
Where
roll
your
the
notes
dice
in
and
your
then
book,
I
okay?
Hey,
What
Where are your notes in your book?
No.
Oh.
It's okay.
You have a good memory, so you're alright.
We have a good recap, which has helped.
so I've lowered the threshold by 1 because I've used what's it,
Penny?
and then I just roll.
Yep.
I can't encourage myself really, can I?
No.
That's fine. Just making sure.
Self-help books.
5, so 6.
5, 6. So yeah, you kind of hunker down, get hold of the table nice and solidly, and with pen up rage, desk flip! And you flip this table up, and it goes in a pretty nice sort of arc, and it lands sort of on the other table on the edge, which causes that one to tip over. So these two tables are now making a kind of little barrier sort of here where they've all been knocked over. A couple of the
Come with me if you want to live.
people who were around the table are kind of startled by it, and one of them kind of gets hit, and he seems kind of squishy. So ordinarily, if that table had kind of landed on somebody, maybe depending on how it went, you could imagine an arm being broken. But this seems to have just sheared right through the arm, and now this zombie's kind of looking at his arm like,
Zombies don't normally go ow though, do they, to be fair?
but they do go,
You just did that. You just did the same sort of sound.
Is it feeling?
But
It's just
My
generic.
Apple Watch.
It's generic zombie noise. It's not specifically
it's not like I am Groot in different languages.
No, it's just kind of generic zombie.
But there was no
Oh,
bone in there
Maxwell.
as far as we're aware.
Sorry?
It doesn't look like there was a bone in there.
There was, but it doesn't seem to be particularly bony.
They are literally now just meat sacks.
Okay. I didn't know if we were going with they're not even persons, they're just looking like persons. And they're actually, because when the demony things came on the train, they were a bit like,
They were made of gloop.
exactly. They made a gloop.
They're not made of gloop. They're
Oh.
just kind of. You know how like a regular piece of wood is sort of like, nice and solid, and you hit it, and if you break it, it kind of snaps and it cracks, but it's fairly resilient. Now imagine that same piece of wood that's riddled with woodworm, and you just kind of go straight through it, and there's kind of not really much resistance at all.
So easy to kill zombies. Well, easy to dismember. Anyway, have the barrier.
So you've got a little barrier there, and you've got
Wait, where's the 19 sat?
19 was stood
Oh, yeah.
with his back to the bar there, watching your table.
We just
How's that
have to-
happening?
Where are you?
Behind the bar.
I
Serve
forgot
it.
about that part.
So-
No,
So
it's
starting 19.
So Stowbold has flipped the table, and as the table's in the air doing its thing, what does Caliban do?
My big sword is upstairs.
Your big sword is upstairs.
That makes no difference.
What about your medium sword and your little sword and your extra tiny sword?
What do you mean this one? Silver Sun ability. Create simple inanimate one-handed item. So it's the sword that I used to use before I bought that big sword, which is actually doesn't do as much damage, but it's easier to hit with. So there's a level 2.
And what type of sword is this?
It is a. Oh no! This time round, it is going to be the Blue Mage artifact sword from Final Fantasy XI. So it's single-edged sword, slight curve with the heavier weight at the far end, with a kind of Arabic style bassinet.
Okay.
Hilt
So it's
edge.
almost like a falchion.
Yeah, but a little bit more ornate.
Exactly what I picture Caliban to have as a secondary choice.
So that's pretty much my action, just kind of, and it just, as I pull it like that, it just appears from beneath my hand.
So cool. Hand sheath. Hawk.
I'm going for the shotgun that is behind the bar.
You are going to have to make it across the entirety of the pub.
No,
I'm not-
she's-
I'm behind the bar.
She was
Oh,
working.
you
she was
actually
working
were
in the bar.
walking behind the bar, weren't you?
Yeah.
Serving 19.
Okay.
92.
You go for the shotgun.
Yeah.
You reach below the bar.
Yeah.
You grab the shotgun.
Yeah.
You pop back up from behind the bar.
At 90.
Who's not there anymore?
Oh, where did he go? I'd like to take. Can I make a perception check just to see if I can see if he's anywhere?
You can. Roll me. Yeah, roll me perception.
Oh, no, hang on. I'd like to cast Eyes of a Hawk.
Yep.
Which is my eyes transform into those of a hawk, and I add 3 Benny to my perception pool, and I can see 3 times as far as normal.
Okay.
So that's 2. Cast that. So.
Can I just have a look at the card for a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Add 3 extra Benny to my perception. Right. Ooh. 9.
Okay. I now want you to make me a sorcery check.
Can I use any bennies?
You can use Benny's. It's the same as any other roll. So
6.
something isn't right with this picture,
Okay.
but you can't tell what it is that's not right with this picture. You're looking at where 19 should be.
Yeah.
And it's not there. But at the same time, it's not as though nothing is there.
Yeah.
But you're also, as you look around, kind of scanning the room, you're also noticing kind of like patches like that all over the place.
I feel like we're probably under a spell.
Well, while Hawk is having a look around with Hawko Vision TN,
Yeah.
Stress.
You've got VATS.
Yeah, I do have VATS. I'd like to put VATS to see kind of where my enemies and targets are.
Okay, so how exactly does your VATS work?
It's how I see space and everywhere around, so it kind of, it's like Fallout,
Okay, so you can see, angles and
but in a kind of more Tron atmosphere.
So you've got like a really good chance to hit that one, but not such a good chance to hit that one, and that one's probably just going to duck behind the bar. That sort of thing. Okay, make me a perception roll.
Cool, I'll put perception Benny. Can I use some sortilege as well?
Mm-hmm.
That's a flux.
You've got flux.
Oh.
I've got 7.
Still got flux.
Flux isn't fail.
Flux is not fail.
Flux is fun.
Flux is flux. Let's have a look at the old flux chart.
Oh, boy.
I know. I just hope that doesn't mess up because
He divided by 0 and he's fallen into his own bat's vision.
that's the thing that would make me half blind.
So,
Because it kind of got the like 3 lines down, like almost mechanical.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of built into my eye.
Oops, fun.
a nearby doorway or entrance locks or unlocks. And you hear a resounding clang from that front door that you were going to be going and making your way towards.
Okay. Do I see any like any? So, but does it work? Do I see where the like
things that aren't are.
Yeah, basically not. Wait, so no
You-
enemies?
No, you can see enemies, and you
Yeah.
can see
So they're
that
all the
zombie
ones that
A
you
is going to
regularly see.
shuffle about 3 feet that way, and that zombie B is going
But
to.
I don't see
back off that
19.
way.
Zombie.
You don't see 19.
Not even in that.
You do not see 19 in bats. That, please. Thank you much, Lee. We've now got the Lost Star. Grey magic, which is notions, is enhanced, and indigo magic is diminished. We gaze into the night sky and we see the stars shining back down on us. We wonder what they really are, but that's a secret for another time.
This game is so totally not magic.
Stars represent a higher world where everything is magnified. Everything having to do with the stars is far greater than it would be in our world. Love burns brighter, gems sparkle more beautifully, and children sing more sweetly. At the same time, disasters are more calamitous, anger seethes more deeply, and armies wage wars far longer.
Wonderful.
And as if to echo that, all of the zombies that are kind of like, milling and shuffling around, they all now start making a beeline towards you. And although they're still not kind of like running fast, they are all shuffling in.
But seeing as we're in 2 locations, are they all heading to our location or to her location or a bit of both?
There's a few peppered around the bar, but the vast majority of them are now making a kind of loose sort of cordon around this bit. It's not,
Do they funnel a bit?
they funnel a bit between the tables and chairs, yes. But yeah, so they've kind of started milling about, so you've now kind of got zombies peppered about thusly. And Snowball, what would you like to do now?
Go for another exit. So we know that one's closed, but there must be a back entrance.
Yeah, there's one. This side of the bar.
Where? There?
Yeah, there's the toilets.
Well, there must be toilets here.
yeah.
mustn't there?
So the door to the toilets is going to be down there. The corridor that leads to the toilets also goes around the back into a fire escape. There is a door behind the bar which goes down to like the cellar and whatnot.
Can I do something?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I have an incantation.
Mm-hmm.
Teeth grow sharp in the dark. So teeth grow sharp in the depths. Creates a
Doesn't
wall.
sound positive.
Creates a wall made of churning water 4 feet thick that fits within a medium area. So probably that kind of size.
Yep.
Oh crap! That's going to back you off.
I can go
Okay.
hide.
Moving through it requires a successful movement action. Challenge level 8. The water is filled with toothy fish like barracuda and viper fish, so anyone moving through it also suffers 8 points of damage. No dodge possible.
Excellent. So you are casting that kind of
So
there.
that is going to be
That there, and you're literally kind of cutting the room in half.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's an incantation. So
you cast it, and it's as though a waterfall erupts from the ground.
Yeah.
Almost like a geyser filling, and you can still see through it, and it's all, wibbly and wobbly. Any of the...
Moana style.
Sorry?
Yeah, but what a styly.
At first, Moana pretty, and then you realise that all of the zombies that were in... It's how
4
thick
foot
is it?
thick.
4 foot thick. So all of the patrons that are in that 4 foot thick kind of wall of water are now pulped. And the water turns a kind of pinky, gooey
Chum.
colour. And it is like chum. So now you can't really see through it to the other side, so you're not really sure what's going on over here. And likewise, you're not really sure what's going over there, because there's just this geyser of chunky salsa.
Chonky.
Chonky, chonk. Yeah, I am chonk. There is a entrance to the cellar. It's not through the door, it's through a hatch on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and, without, because there's no zombies behind the bar, try and get down there without them noticing.
Okay.
Because they've just seen a really great wall of water come up, which is
Yeah.
quite distracting.
And I'd like to think that there is a entrance that I know that goes to the back alley that you can
Well,
get
no,
through.
it's
because
where you would have kegs coming down
Yeah.
there, wouldn't you?
So I'm going to try and get out there.
Okay. So you bend down to the hatch, and is it a wooden hatch? Is it?
Yeah, it's wooden. It looks like it's part of the floor,
Yeah.
and then there's just like the hook thing that you pull up, and then the.
Uh-huh.
In my head, I have it how it was. Did you ever see where the hatch was at the Green and Gone? Behind the
No.
bar. Oh, yeah, they've got that there, and that's kind of
Okay.
imagine it.
So you bend down, you lift open the hatch. The trouble is, Penn and Teller aren't brilliant at kind of maintenance and upkeep. So although it opens without too much trouble, it does make a really loud sort of noise. And out of the corner of your eye, you notice that the zombies that kind of were kind of milling around here
Yeah.
are kind of going,
Yeah, but they're just done. So.
and they're going to start shambling towards you, and they're kind of...
But you've got a bar in between,
Yeah.
and by the time you get down there,
And you have a
you've got-
shotgun.
And it's-
So yeah, so the zombies there sort of like start kind of like coming towards you, and they're trying to mount the bar, kind of in the same way as a toddler trying to pull himself up onto
Yeah, so I'm
the couch for the first
I'm
time.
totally okay. If there were World War Z zombies, I'd be dead. But we're not. We're talking classic.
As you start going down the stairs
Yeah.
into the
It's
cellar,
turned into
And trying to shut the door behind me.
and then trying to shut the door behind you, you suddenly have just this fleeting thought. Where's Terence? Astraeus, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Oh. Fudge.
I imagine I'm about there.
Yep.
So we've kind of got a funnel of zombies there. I'm going to kind of drop behind the shelter and prop my gun arm on it as a rest.
Okay.
And then I'd like to weave other universe and destruction to kind of have an explosion of stars. Like get the energy of a proton star to go boom,
Zombies take fire.
and just kind of cut them. I want to shoot a laser out my arm.
Let me be very clear about what it is that you're asking to do. You want to channel the power of a star through your arm to shoot a zombie.
Do you know all those memes that go when the DM slows down and goes, "Are you sure?"
Go for
At the point when you go, "No."
But like
You're
just
speaking
concentrated
memes,
into
marry me.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna
What level are you casting it at?
6.
Okay, so, and it's destruction spell, so it's a red spell. So red spell isn't this.
Point to hidden knowledge since I've not done this one before.
Okay.
Where would I get that?
You were Stephen Hawking.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was.
Power of
I was Stephen Hawking. So I'm gonna change that to a 6.
Hey, zombie, I'm Stephen Hawking's son.
I am Stephen Hawking Hawking.
How many red dice do I need?
So, what level spell is it? So it's a level 6.
Mm.
So what I'm thinking, sorry to
Yeah.
kind of interrupt, 5 points of that level for damage, and 1 so you can affect everything in the line. So you can kind of
Yeah.
do it as a line attack. Yep. So it's a level 6 spell.
Can I spend a point of perception as well to as
Accuracy, maybe.
for the
For accuracy, you can spend accuracy to be more accurate.
Oh, there's an actual accuracy one.
What does Roland have all the points in?
So level 6.
We've not
is
seen
one
him for a
additional
while,
bonus.
so I'm not sure.
So it goes, you're adding 6 to adventure from the spell, plus 1 from your hidden knowledge. So that's you're adding 7 to your dice rolls for your 2 hit rolls.
Mm-hmm. Before you roll, how many in your Bene Pour do you have for physicality?
3.
Okay.
But my body's made of like robot parts. Like
Yeah,
really
your arms
strong.
and legs are, but your middle bit isn't.
The squishy bit where your brain
That's a
is.
bit squishy.
I am but a nugget.
But
And I got a 9 and a 7.
Got a 9 and a 7. Which was the 9?
The magic one.
And so that was a 7. Brilliant. So, using your arcane powers, you summon the celestial energy of a star and you focus it into this kind of like almost infinitely small rate, like a needle of absolute
my house up,
power.
I'm gonna
It's
kill
gonna
you.
push backwards.
And it works absolutely fantastically. Superb death and destruction at both ends. So, whereabouts are you aiming?
And the funnel, I thought.
Well, yeah, where they're kind of
So,
funneling.
so this bit here is sort of cut off. So the pencil's sort of like the shining salsa of doom. So you're kind of shooting that way.
Yeah.
Okay. The good news is that you get a through and through, and you manage to take the arm off one zombie that's just kind of not really there. Straight through, gone. Super. The next zombie straight through the chest, gone. Absolutely fantastic. The zombie behind him, face gone. Absolutely brilliant. The back wall, zoom. Fantastic. The building next to it. The building behind that. The building behind that. The building behind
And anyone
that.
That was a
in the
donut
way.
shop, you nugget.
By channeling the power of a star to shoot something that I have likened to rotting wood, you have destroyed,
Half of the bloody street.
essentially, I'm going to say...
Motley Plain.
So you've got 3 physicality, so 3 miles. Vroomf. And as the curve of the planet starts happening, the beam is going kind of relatively higher. So it stops taking out ground floor, and then it starts hitting second floor, and who knows how much absolute wanton destruction you have just unleashed. Except everybody in the room knows when your arm explodes because you've just tried to channel the power of a star through your arm.
But my arm was designed for that.
I'm not sure it was.
Yeah, I've had the best, most renowned maker who made weapons of war.
The dodgy guy who knocked it up above a dry cleaning shop.
Does that for?
Still,
It works-
I'm
it works-
pretty sure he had the intelligence not to know to funnel the energy of a star through one's arm.
Gordon Ramsay is a really, really good chef. He knows not to make spaghetti bolognese with dead raccoons. Physically,
To freebies.
you're fine. But the robo arm is just absolutely
Fried.
fused and melted and bleh. It smells like circuit boards and solder and
I've had that magic smoke come out of my laptop. That magic smoke was brilliant. It's what made the laptop work. Because after the smoke came out, the laptop didn't work.
and even though your arm is solid state, you have that smell from burnt out valves. You're not sure how. So,
Well, what am I meant to do against Harlequin now?
Not fire the sun at him.
I reckon you're probably too young, really, to know Generation 1 Transformers all that well. But do you know Megatron? And he's got the big
Yeah.
cannon on his arm. That's one of his special things, is he can link that cannon to, like, stars and stuff. But one of those shots puts him out of commission for months.
Whoops.
I just love the little.
You're an idiot, Starscream! Snowballed. Essentially,
I've made an exit for us now.
At least we know where to go.
Got rid of threat, made an exit.
yeah,
Well, I'm not sure you did, because
But I said
how big was this hole that he's made?
it started off really, really kind of like super narrow, but the thing about kind of light is that
It
it
spreads.
spreads and it propagates.
So
So
by
although
the time it's 3 miles, it's what, a couple of buildings
It's
big?
taking-
Okay, great.
a
But
couple
in
of
the
buildings
narrow
big
part,
and a
We were
couple of
trying not
buildings
to hurt
wide,
people.
but also in
We
the narrow
take-
part that's close to us,
it's
it's taken him out about 3 or 4 zombies.
It's-
We've still got another 5 or
it's,
6
it's,
there.
it's taken out 3 or 4 zombies, and the hole that it's made in the wall is a mighty impressive hole, but it's only propagated about yay.
It's a dartboard. We can throw yourself through a dartboard, can't
So you know
You can jump through it.
you can parkour your way through it
Oh,
if you get there. Snowballed.
How many zombies left?
How many zombies in the swirling mass of the melee? You're not entirely sure, but you think there's probably about 4 or 5 of them
Okay.
still on this side.
Okay. And the ones that he's shot, like in the arm and the chest and things like that, they're still coming for us?
The one that's been hit in the arm is just kind of on the floor, kind of. The one that's been shot in the chest and the head are.
Okay. Because some of them are only if you get them actually in the head.
Are they a
but
little
he's-
bit cooked?
There's this delightful aroma that reminds you of KFC.
We have
Yeah.
oh. ZFC.
Do you know that smell that you get when you go past the one up at
Yeah.
that?
No, because now I want KFC.
Yeah, but zombies.
You could coat a zombie in those 12 herbs and spices and I'd probably still eat it.
11.
Is it
My
11?
brother.
11.
Yeah.
Oh.
My brother uses
11 herbs
it.
and spices and cocaine.
Because he puts an addictive ingredient in his chicken that makes you crave it fortnightly, you smart ass.
Oh, you will buy my chicken. Oh, yes. So Married an Axe Murderer.
Oh, okay.
Michael Myers.
So-
Only good film.
Okay.
So there's 4 or 5 zombies still kind of like milling about who are active combatants, shall we say.
Okay.
All of that and that's 2 enemies.
So I think I've got a thing that tells me where everybody is.
Our favourite
Border
beavers.
vision.
So no, War of the Pacifist. Know
Oh,
the location of all,
oh, yeah.
all your allies, so I know where she is and I know she's getting out. So I'm not.
That's like a one-use spell. So if you
Oh,
activate,
really?
yeah, it's an
Okay.
incantation. So if
I'm
you
just gonna
activate
trust
it,
Is
that
it,
she's
how far
okay.
is the road from
Yeah.
thingy? Is it 3 miles?
Um,
Don't know.
and she's going in the exit
3.1
direction. So I think we just barricade through. I've got a pistol in
Okay.
my sock, my like what's it? I just always keep. So I literally kind of bang, trying to go through quite quick shots. 6 in the.
So
kind of
you're going
chamber,
to
is it?
what sort of?
I
gun
don't
is it?
know guns personally.
So it's a holdout pistol because it's a small piece because you're hiding it in your sock.
Yeah.
Do you want it to be a revolver or an automatic?
Automatic. Okay.
Automatic. You could probably get something like a Makarov, which is like a little kind of gun. You probably get 7
Okay.
in one of those.
Okay.
So let's say there's 6 targets. You've got 7 shots.
Yeah.
So
And I think because of my training and things, I should be relatively accurate.
do you have
death at each hand. No,
that's not what I was looking for.
you have 1 level in training in.
Do you have firearms or ranged combat as a trained?
Would
Bottom,
I find this
bottom
one?
left-hand corner of the character sheet. The skills.
No.
Okay, in that case, it's just going to be accuracy
Adds a level of the weapon.
and the yeah. So you're going to get
Expensive endeavour. Add 3 to any action from the same pool.
Yeah, so effectively, normally you can only spend 1 bene on any single skill roll.
Yeah.
So you go You build your venture, so I think it's 3 points of damage, or 3 from the level of your weapon,
Yeah.
which is four for a pistol. But it's a light pistol, so 3. And you can spend 1 accuracy to add 1 to your attack roll, effectively. Expansive Endeavour means you can spend up to 3 accuracy on that 1 attack roll, giving you +6 to your roll rather than +4.
But this roll is for shooting all of them or shooting one of them?
Single shot, I think. It's not like a fully automatic.
Because in all other types of games, you've got like your part which is 3 or 6 seconds or something. I am literally planning to walk through. Right, my party this way. Hold up an umbrella.
I'm going to say that you can, but it's going to make it much more difficult than if you were just shooting at one of them. And if you're walking as well, it's going to make it more difficult again. So you've got to weigh up.
We've got cover, so I don't need to walk. But I think I want to give it a go to do everybody.
So you're essentially going for a Mozambique drill and just go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Okay. Make me your roll.
So I've got 3.
So you've got +6. So what difficulty is there?
This is going to be a 9. If you want to essentially empty your magazine at 6 separate targets, you're going to need a 9.
Because you've got 6 onto a roll already, so you need a 3 or higher.
So you need 3 or higher.
Okay. 5.
Fantastic. So yeah, you bend down, thing out, and then all of a sudden this needs to be done.
Oh my God. I feel this is the equivalent of weight right there.
This is probably going to be a gag just for me, but
Yeah, pretty much.
shot comes out, bang, 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 bang. 1 still left in the pipe. All of the zombies on this side are now down and out of the count.
That's how you do it, son.
And then just as you stand up from behind, Extreme Ways, it's Moby, but they use a different remix of it for every one of the Bourne films. Indeed.
Anyway,
Or rather,
stop.
redeed.
YouTube.
Oh yes, of course. Content ID.
Content ID.
Shouldn't matter if it's not monetized.
Still do
I
it
presume
anyway.
you're not running ads on your YouTube channel.
But they'll still do it anyway
Shouldn't
because it's YouTube.
So,
I was offered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you hit, I think, 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers.
I don't really know how
He
YouTube
says,
works.
do you want to put, do you want to monetize your channel? And I thought about it and I thought, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, you only get a couple of pence.
Builds up though if you've got.
But yeah, this side of the aisle is nice and lovely and clear, and you've got a nice, if somewhat gore-strewn path straight to the new back door.
There's
That
not even a
Stratus
door,
installed.
it's a hole. So I think it's
What I would totally have loved if we were at the toilets, there was people in the toilets got turned into zombies, but they were still going for a piss. So you just got one dude who's just stood at the urinals to
There's one zombie with one hand up on the wall, which is behaviour that I've seen but never understood. When I'm in a public toilet, I don't want to touch anything. Is there? And this massive half moon gouge inside his body where your mega smasher blast has just gone through.
So I reckon at the door, it's like that big.
Well, I probably shouldn't have done that when.
So we literally come up to the door, reach through it, open the handle.
The word stars.
Well, the door is here. This door was just the door that led into the corridor.
Yeah.
And the corridor then runs this way, and there's a fire escape over here somewhere.
What was the name of the sun we're under at the moment?
The Lost,
The Lost Star.
Found it.
Not so much lost, if you borrowed it.
Found it.
So now all of the other stars are going, oh, Steve!
Temporarily misplaced star.
Steve was here a minute ago! Oh, no! And light years away, on the other side of the galaxy, an entire planet is suddenly plunged into darkness as the star has disappeared.
Freezing they are. Dying.
No, it took
Gravity-
quite a while.
Gravity
Yeah,
stops,
actually, yeah.
the planet starts
It's not as
drifting
quickly
away,
as it
a
quickly
rogue
think.
planet. All of the inhabitants know that they are doomed to die of cold and dark.
It is a vast planet, lit by no sun, covered by immense mountains and forests of blackness.
No wonder why my kill count's high. I'm getting loads of points for this.
But just think of all the people that you killed with all the buildings that you destroyed with your ray of sun.
You're just little way of such.
I'm a little ray of sunshine.
Kelly, can you cut the deck?
Oh, crap.
Oh, yeah. What was that? Yeah.
So where were we? We're walking towards the door.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
You've just popped up from behind your
Right.
cover and capped everybody.
Right then.
We've still got the other side of the waterfall. And
Me.
whatever lurks in the
Who
basement.
just went, oh shit, where's Terrence?
So, we're going to start with you this time. And you're going down into the cellar,
Yeah.
and you've just drawn the crowded tomb. So, it's the one of secrets. Pale magic is enhanced, green magic is diminished.
So secrets is me though. Yay!
And me. So pale plus and what's minus?
Green.
Oh fuck, that's half my magic.
Crowded tomb. Are you paying attention, Cal?
But pale's enhanced. Yes, for the spell that I want to do.
Are you paying attention?
No.
The tomb lies at the end of all stories.
I feel episode 3 of
The reward for the greatest monarch and the lowliest beggar. Of course the tomb is crowded. It grows more crowded each day. Mourners crowd around the tomb, but it is even more crowded within.
Oh, the Irish.
So many deaths. So many enemies. Crowded tomb is the location card of the secrets family and thus represents a permanence or is related to a physical place. This means that the
game's not
finality
magic.
it represents probably occurs in a specific and significant location.
So close to my house. Oh,
This is probably all fast, Matt.
I live above it.
You live above it.
I'm gonna die now, aren't I?
Game narrative. Someone dies.
The spider. Yes.
All up to you.
Spider.
So, you scuttle down the first few stairs into the basement, and you close the door behind you. The basement of the pub is still lit. It's a pub. People need to go down and check the barrels, but it's not exactly the Blackpool illuminations. There are lots of little dim corners and nooks and crannies, and all sorts going on. And from above you, you can start hearing as kind of ragged, decayed fingernails are clawing at the door, and they're failing to operate a pull door. They are pushing.
Would just head for the way the barrels drop in. That. Basically, that's where I'm heading.
Okay.
Not thinking about much else.
So you're just legging it for
Yeah.
the thing. So you start running.
But actually,
It's too late.
yeah.
Oh,
Because I
no.
figured.
You start running towards the hatchway that will lead into the alley behind the pub where all of the deliveries come through.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Until you feel something gossamer thin kind of across your face. And suddenly you're stuck fast in a web.
And then you hear vroom! Bang, 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 bang.
So you've run into this web.
Please don't show me any pictures. As
I'm not going to show you a picture.
You will get flicked in the nuts.
There will be no. I promise you, there is no picture. Although content ID may kick in again.
Don't cheat on this.
I'm not going to shield up this. But for atmosphere, what are you going to do?
Well, I can't move, can I? So, but the thing is that if you do move,
You can send a message through the
Nurse
things to let these people. No, through the not the nurse sphere.
no,
So
I
do,
can't do that. It's not leveled up enough. But I do have.
Through her,
You-
through
you
your
do
dragon fly
have-
charm.
I don't. It's not leveled up enough for me to send messages.
You do have fully functioning lungs.
There is that. Yeah, I just scream at the top of my head.
Everybody else, can you make a perception? It's going to be... Yeah, make a perception roll for me.
I'm gonna use vanish for it. What's the music?
4. Sorry?
What's the music?
It's the Cure.
Yeah, but which one?
It's a
Lullaby.
Oh.
I got a 0.
So
4.
0. I use perception.
0.
0.
It's a cracking scream, but it's lost a little bit with the
Oh no, I can't.
floor above you and the torrent of churning piranhas and the screams of distraught homeowners
I
and the
can.
fire alarms and smoke alarms.
I can send a message. I didn't realise I got level 2.
If that sends it to the noosphere, that can take a while to be delivered.
Yeah.
Unless it stays, it's like an instant.
No, it's the dragonfly charm. Send a message up to
Oh,
20 words later.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, help! This is 20 words. Help! I'm stuck in a web. I can't move.
In
In the basement.
there we go.
And just as you send that message, you feel an almost feathery light touch on the back of your neck. Stress.
So we get this message, yeah?
You get this message, which then ends with
You still have
Yeah,
diarrhea.
but it's dry.
you get the message which ends with the "Would you like to know what?" You're cradling the smouldering ruins of your right arm.
It's hurting a lot. You can't actually
Do you
feel
have
pain.
pain sensors in a rubber arm?
No, but emotionally it's...
I only just got this one.
So I'm going to turn it into a gun sword later.
You've only just got it. It's under warranty.
Warranty is void if not used for the purpose of which it was intended.
Yes. I was trying to offer him a ray of hope. So did that, right?
Like say, no, he used to wear sunshine. Yeah.
So you have received that message loud and clear.
Very loud.
So your arm's
Very
still
loud.
burning hot, yeah? Like, is
Yeah.
it really warm and like...
Malleable.
If it was to touch a spider web, would the spider web burn a bit?
You would imagine so.
Well,
It's
my dragonfly
just channeled the power of the sun through it.
It's
Might
a
be a
little
tad warm to the touch.
I've got my dragonfly charm.
As
fully-
your manly tears from your land on it, they're hissing.
Perfect. My dragonfly charm is fully upgraded.
Yes.
Teleport to another charm under the same sun.
Boom.
5 sorcery.
I've got that.
Yeah.
And if she's trapped in a web, hopefully my arm's going to be in the web and kind of
Fizzle it off.
fizz it off.
What does the teleportation through that charm look like? Because we know that your normal teleportation involves like grids of space time and a smell of mint or menthol.
I kind of imagine like a dragonfly kind of rips out of it and it kind of folds its wings
Like
around
Green
you.
Hornet going. "Doo-doo, doo-doo."
And I was thinking like the dragonfly kind of like you get a massive energy of it and its wings kind of fold around you and it kind of folds up and
Yeah.
as that's folding it in like that, you've got another one where your target is that's unfolding.
Like origami.
Yeah,
Okay.
like origami.
So
Origami dragonfly.
you're kind of
should be a name.
folded into an origami dragonfly, which then kind of vroomf, and then at the other end appears and then unfolds with you in it. Fantastic. So you appear on the other side of the web, facing Hawk, and you can see that the strands of the web are still normal kind of spiders. It's not like they're big, thick tendrils. It's just like a normal spider web, just much, much bigger. And
Why
Hawk's kind
can't
of
she get through it then?
Because it's
because
sticky.
it's really, really strong and really, really sticky.
Flexible.
But it doesn't look any different.
It doesn't look any different, but it's there. And Hawk's kind of
Something's
run
right.
into it, and her face is kind of smashed like that. And she's still got the shotgun in one hand, but it's all like that. And just behind, you can see that.
Fat Bob. That's terrifying.
It's that at the top, but then the bottom is like a stereotypical kind of Dryder. So its abdomen and head and arms are that of Robert Smith, but it's got a spider butt with 8 long, terrifying, creepy spider legs out of it.
We're totally tweeting that later.
And the Robert Smith face is kind of like leant right in, and he's kind of like gently just brushing the back of Hawk's neck.
Robert Smith,
Robert Smith.
Is he a zombified Robert Smith?
Just Robert Smith.
I know, but
So
Robert Smith.
Robert Smith.
Spider butt. That's what was in my head. So that you went Robert Smith at top, spider butt.
Okay, and that's your turn ends just as you kind of like arrive there with this kind of like frozen tableau in front of you. Calvin,
I would high five you, but I
you
can't
get the
move.
distress message.
I don't have Dragonfly Charm.
For no particular reason, Astraeus goes.
It's cool when he does that.
And from somewhere you hear the sound of Zoidberg.
is it Robert Smith making that noise? Just
No.
So good at that.
that'd be terrible.
Did he just bug out on us? Or has he gone to do something sensible?
yeah. Hawk's in trouble. He's gone to help her. We'll meet them out the back. So we
Fantastic.
keep going.
I am going to run, also kind of leap over the. You never taken a shortcut? hand on the barricade, sword in the other hand, leap over the sidelines, run, and then just kind of do a forward dive through this hole.
Yes.
That
Astraeus has
Astraeus
for you
has
earlier.
made. Doing my bestest to kind of swish it and not actually touch the still burning, still stellar heat from the outside of things.
Splendid.
I
Movement.
believe that'll be a movement. I'm trading dodging. I'm not sure if that counts. Probably not.
You're dodging the wall.
No.
The wall is
So-
stationary. The wall is trying to dodge Caliban.
I'm spending a movement
This is
bene
a
and a
roll
point
against-
of sortilege,
Mhm.
just to give me an extra dice. A 6 and a 3, so with my bene, that's a level 7 task I pass out.
That's fantastic. You leap over the barricade and you run, and it's almost as though your feet aren't touching the floor. You're just kind of going through. And as you dive through the barricade, you kind of do this kind of spirally twisty.
Twisty
Awesomeness.
forward roll, and as I land, somehow my sword has gone from a standard grip to a reverse grip. I did a superhero Will Ospreay landing.
From somewhere you hear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what.
That's not wrestling.
Yeah, no, absolutely fine. You somehow managed to do a kind of tope suicido / tope conhile / 360 corkscrew all at once.
Yep.
And you're through, and you're in the
In the corridor.
In the corridor.
I've also managed to turn 90 degrees, so I'm facing down the corridor.
Yep. You have just got a standard kind of pub corridor thing. There's like a couple of extra old beer crates there that haven't been taken outside yet, and at the end of the corridor is the fire exit.
Fantastic. No zombies.
No zombies.
Clear.
Stonewall.
What about somebody who don't
Walk. What? Somebody in the
He hasn't
toilet.
gone into the.
Oh.
Caliban hasn't gone into the toilets.
Oh.
Caliban's got to come and save your sorry ass.
It's not a sorry ass.
I climb normally over the barricade and walk normally to her and undo the door and go through it.
Well, because you're not running and diving, you don't get as far. You're about 3/4 of the way.
A bit
along.
faster, not like a slow pace, but it's just okay.
Okay, so you're about at this door here.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Excellent. Okay.
Maybe I've just opened it, but I'm not through it.
The Endless Woods.
Okay.
This is just not. When are we gonna get a nice one?
I don't think there are nice ones. Everything's got.
Everything
pros and
is-
cons.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. But that is
That's what Robert Split.
That's a forest, not woods.
same difference. Mysteries. So that's
Hey.
so do, do,
What was
do,
it?
do,
The
do.
dark.
We have the Endless Woods.
The old Endless
Green magic is enhanced. Pale magic is diminished. It is the Three of Mysteries.
Yep.
The Endless Maze. As within, so without. The maze that traps you, slows your journey, forces you to double back, and leads you to where you don't want to go. Might be a physical maze, or it might be your own indecision, self-criticism, or self-doubt. To get where we need to go, or do what we need to do, we have to conquer the mazes we find ourselves in. A journey or task takes much longer than expected.
Are you sure it's just a corridor? Oh no, it's
It's the black corridor.
it's a
So,
it's a
Callum,
corridor in.
you're in the corridor.
It's the corridor from Ocarina of Time in the Forest Temple, where
What?
as you
He's
walk
not
down
in
it,
the
it
corridor.
kind of turns.
He's not in the corridor.
No.
Straight, isn't
No,
No,
I'm in the basement.
Caledon is in the corridor.
it?
Ahead of you is the fire exit, and it's just a standard push bar fire exit, just like you'd see anywhere.
That's
I
my
kind of say to you,
Yeah.
and it was whatever, how the appropriate volume for how far away you are.
Yeah.
She's in the basement. Astreus is helping her, and then you can kind of head.
So I will effectively run down the corridor, sword at the ready,
Mhm.
back into sort of bash the door, the push bar open with my back,
Yeah.
and then kind of turn around so that as the door swings open, I'm kind of
Swinging with
backing it out.
it. Fantastic.
And that gives me obviously a view
It
of.
just feels very Galaxy Quest, where he's like rolling and jumping everywhere. I'm like, does it help? Does it help?
Yes. It makes me feel good.
Looks cool.
keeps the blood pumping.
Ensures the critics give it 4 stars. How
Taste
boring
of
would
laughing
Spider-Man
strangers.
be if Spider-Man strolled to the scene of a crime?
There
Taste
was
of
one
laughing
here,
strangers.
Spider-Man, where he's just walking down the street.
That's definitely me in the
Just-
Spider-Man game because I can't swing. So I just strolled down the street.
Yeah. No, awesome.
Ouch.
And scan the area. Can I see the barrel drop hatch?
Yeah.
So that's we've come out here. The barrel hatch is at it's kind of roughly in the middle.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely fine. And the path is clear, but you do notice as you go through the fire door, you get this kind of feeling. Don't worry, it's not the same as when you're going through all of the doors in the thing, but you definitely feel it like you've crossed a threshold. Kind of. Maybe there was sort of like a kind of. It's suddenly just a couple of degrees cooler than it was inside, and maybe there was a slight kind of background tinnitus sort of noise that you weren't aware of, but now that you've come outside,
I've
it's
got a bit
gone.
of knowledge of magical lore.
Yeah.
So can I link that in game so I know I've kind of stepped outside of an area of effect of a spell?
Essentially, yeah, you realise that there's been some sort of glamour that you're now out of the range of,
It was a glamour.
kind of.
So,
We
So
may have just poked innocent people. We may. Big M. Capital M.
well, that doesn't concern me. That hasn't affected me yet.
Okay.
I knew something was up, but I didn't know what. So
I don't really have many action points left to kind of get to the barrel hatch to yank it open, do I?
If you want to use like your super ninja kind of parkour stuff and make a movement check, then Yeah, great. You'll have kind of like run and jump and use the momentum to kind of get there.
Yeah, I'll do a and because I'm there, I have all these resources if you don't spend them. 8 and a 7.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. So as you kind of like hit the door and do a roll, it kind of like propels you almost into a kind of half crouch. You spot the door and you kind of do this sort of like moonsault sort of thing over to the door and land immediately next to it, and boom, you rip the hatch open and you can see down, and only there's a kind of small set of stairs down, and then you can see Astraeus' back,
I just
Hawk in the web, and Robert Smith behind, kind of like, "You're my wife now, Dave." Snowball.
Seriously, ball flicks.
So catching up with.
Okay, so you run to the end of the corridor, make it to the fire escape, go out, turn around, and you can see just ahead of you, Caliban is kind of stood there at the ready in front
Do
of
I
the door.
also have the sense that we've come out of a glamour?
Yeah, the minute you go out of the door, it's
So it's just a case of getting people out, really.
Yeah, it's you just suddenly feel like.
Question: because we're now out of it
Mhm.
and looking in on it.
Yeah.
Does that change our perception of what's going on at all?
Well, from where you are, all you can see is the
okay,
back.
what does it change our perception of Caliban's perception?
Yeah, all you can see though from where both of you are coming out is the back wall of the pub, and then a hole in it.
You just said that they looked down and saw Astraeus and Hawk and John Smith or whatever it's called.
Open the door and in.
But so he didn't look while he was out of the van.
No, because it's a hatch like that. He's got to kind of open it and step in to see through the hatch.
Okay. Oh, not okay.
Hawky hawk hawk hawk.
I freeze because I don't do. I Hawk like me in real life.
I can never remember which way round it is.
I want to.
Sorry, go ahead.
I want to cast a spell because I think it is a spell, and I don't know what's going on in there. But she is trapped. If she wasn't trapped, she wouldn't have cast for help, and they'd be out by now. They'd be out at the same speed we were out, but they're not. So, but I know that there's something that's a glamour or whatever. So I want to like dispel it effectively.
Okay.
Or at least give a level of dispellation so they can see more clearly what's happening. So I've got Illuminate Understanding.
Okay.
So I want to like just
have a look at the card and see how that effect works.
it doesn't. It's
It's weaving.
weave
Um,
works how I want it to work.
okay, so how do you want to?
I feel that we've had like the vision put over our eyes of what's 19 wanted us to see.
Yeah.
And I want them to be able to see what's really there.
Okay. So yeah, that's going to be a sorcery check.
Yeah.
It's a very, very powerful glamour, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So how much of your energy do you want to put into trying to dispel it?
Looking around the street and everything, everything looks normal.
It's a normal Thursday night in.
We
in
can
this
see
park.
people.
You, well, not really, because you're in the alley behind
Yeah.
the pub. There's not really any pedestrians about.
But there's
You can hear traffic.
But yeah,
We can hear
yeah,
traffic.
you can
so
hear
it's,
traffic.
it's not like there
You
are
can- you
zombies
can-
out here.
No, you can hear like the normal sort of street sounds. There's
Yeah.
there's traffic behind you. You can
I
hear conversation
think,
as
like,
people come out of.
3/4 of my effort. I want to hold back a little, but I've
Okay.
got an awful lot of effort
So
into
what
this.
is your sorcery pool in total is
I think it's 11. Yeah, 11.
11. So we'll say
So,
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't go any higher than 8. No, we've got to do
Can we not?
8 or
8.
9, I think it is.
Oh,
Dave.
Sorry.
Later.
Yes, please.
How
When-
high was? How much sorcery can I put in something if I want to?
Up to 6.
Oh,
6 it is.
6
So,
it says.
I knew there was a limit, but I can't remember what the limit was.
and
And the roll.
make a roll for this one. So you weave together the elements in an effort to kind of make everybody understand, and you can feel like when you're sort of when you're trying to cut through something that's really kind of difficult and tough, and you can feel that you're almost all the way through it, but there's just this little sort of thread bit there that's just stopping you from breaking through.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you can just see through the cracks, but not quite. And that's
Can they?
and that's the same for everybody else. You suddenly kind of feel like you're looking at something, and you can see that maybe this is just a kind of a nice coat of paint that's on something else underneath, and you can almost make out the features of what's underneath, but not quite.
But I'm working on my assumption that this web isn't really as strong as she thinks it is.
Mhm.
It's perception of it, and she is trying to struggle free. Does she manage to
I'm
get...
not at the moment.
Oh.
And that's it. So we'll pause for a second. So I need to go to the
Yeah.
little boys' room, and then when we get back,
Because if you move moving the web, the spider's going to come get you. So what I'm
Spider's
the
spreading-
spider's
licking
already
your
there.
neck.
I know the spider's already there, but I'm definitely not moving because I don't want to get touched by the spider. Because it's just like, ugh. Spiders come to be your friend. Seriously, ball flicks. And I'm not afraid. You've already got like 3 in storage. You just gained 2. Basically, I'm
but
getting
that wasn't Herbert.
close to fucking enough.
It was not Herbert.
Herbert,
sounded like Herbert.
So I don't know if you can hear that.
Herbert spider.
Stowbold has just tried to weave to kind of break the glamour,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't quite strong enough. But you can all sort of feel like there's a layer of paint or varnish over something, and you can almost see the real image underneath, but just not quite.
Almost like reflection. Oh, right, it's not happening.
Just the smell of all that coffee is like, I don't want any, but it's just like, nice. Birdie. There's no.
Punch Spider Robert Smith in the face.
Rabbit.
I've got an arm that is literally
Fused.
It's,
You're going to
it's-
punch him in the face with liquid hot magma.
and then hopefully, I'll be able to turn it into a gun sword. Did you just disappoint yourself?
Yeah.
Oh. I was like, why have I got a fudgy cube? It's not a fidget cube.
Okay. Which way round is it? Is it withstand physical or mental?
Resist is mental, withstand is physical.
So, before you do anything,
Tastes like
Cal,
chicken noodles.
Hawk needs to make a resist check.
Using.
It's usually intellect for resist, but you can put it on anything you want. Intellect or interaction. Based on. Sorry.
We'll go intellect. So I'm using intellect and a sortage for an extra dice.
That's not as big as a dice.
6 for dice. Let's go. So 2, 3, and 5. So that'd be 6 on that one. So 6 on my normal dice, 3 with me.
Okay, so for a second,
Yeah.
you feel the panic almost overtake you. But just as you get to think that you're not going to be able to breathe in again, you do, and you realise that you have, 2 of your allies in front of you, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But that's as close to a complete sort of shutdown as you've had so you can still function.
But I still can't move. So I am.
Can you?
I can try, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd try to move forward, but because I'm guessing if I'm stuck in this thing, my feet aren't on the floor or anything. So
Well, you've run into it.
yeah, so mid motion.
So you can make a physicality to try and free yourself.
Yeah, try and put my foot on the floor and gain some motion, some traction.
Unless there's any other way you can think of escaping from the web.
Not really. Not that I have any. Well, I can try and tear it, like. But if I'm stuck in it, trying to break it's going to be.
Could you, because you're a maker, can't you use like kind of mind magic to kind of put all up?
Maker is kind of tinkering in labs.
Needs hands.
Yeah, and
And
they're a bit
time.
stuck at the moment.
Can you do jazz hands?
I could try and shoot the
Can you
gun,
do jizz
but
hands?
that's not really going to help.
What if you don't know?
I was about to go worse, but I'm going to behave.
Okay. Where are you?
If you get desperate, I can get you out.
Where
The cost will be quite high.
the fudge am I trying to find? Oh yeah, here we go. So I've got the complaint to the lost. This object allows the wearer to conjure a single random non-magical item that they can hold in one hand. That item summoned is one that was in the midst of being used by its prior owner. So a flamey torch. That's what that was.
Random.
Oh, was it random?
Yeah.
Ah, see, last time we did it, we were allowed to choose we chose what it was. No, that's cool. We'll forget that then. It's not. No, I'm just going to try and move.
Okay, so physicality to try and tear yourself free from the silky bonds of Fat Bob.
I don't think I know who this person is.
So,
He needs
Two.
to watch YouTubers to work out.
Two.
How to stick on.
The web is unyielding and
Yeah,
sticky. And although you can kind of struggle and move about,
Yeah.
you're not completely stuck. It kind of stretches and allows you a little bit of movement, but it's elastic as it gets to the
You're stuck to
Edge.
bungee cord.
yeah.
it kind of
This
pulls,
is as I imagined.
pulls you back into place. And from behind you, you hear this voice that is a whisper, but at the same time, to everybody that can hear it, well, all of us apart from Snowball at the moment, it's a whisper, but it still seems incredibly loud and menacing. It's just, "This is my prize. You can't have it."
Is it like an Isabel whisper?
Yeah.
It is exactly like the stage whisper of a 3-year-old.
This
talking
is
with Teresa,
terrifying.
Russ.
Hmm?
I was talking with Teresa today about children whispering and things like this, and she said she'd been to a high Anglican church where they had communion and they the priest had eaten up the host afterwards, and the little boy was like, "Why is he doing that?" And Mum was like, "Because it's really special, and it's so important that they don't have any left over afterwards." He's like, "In 3 days it'll be poop. It's not very special then, is it?"
Oh my goodness.
So I believe it's just a Strauss in this round. You did your Ninja Matrix flip open door.
That's previous round.
That's still this round. You were the first to move in this round.
Okay.
Yeah, you were.
I'm going to reflex punch this spider.
The spider
Robert's
that's
just on the other side of the
on the
web.
other side of the web, on the other side of Hawk.
Now,
So,
now if you
like-
can punch through Hawk,
No, you punch through the web because I imagine the spider's kind of just being creepy.
oh, you did say its face was like right, kind
Yeah,
of like
kind of
working
just like, and just kind of like
So
into the web.
you're going to go face punch through the web
Yeah.
into Robert Smith's
Do you
face.
remember when he slows down and tries to make you clarify what you're doing? Do you remember
I
what
thought
last
that's
time?
just because I don't make sense.
No.
I'm doing that with the
Are you?
burning hot
Is it
one, so it can punch
this
through
web? Are
Yes.
there gaps in it?
There are. It's not a solid mesh,
Okay.
but the individual strands of the web are very difficult to see because they are kind of like.
So it's
That's
very
what I
likely if
was
you punch into it, you get stuck too.
Yeah, but thing is, I'm punching it with the arm that literally just channeled the energy of
Okay.
a star. So hopefully that'll be able to burn through.
Make
If
yourself
not,
a
you're gonna
punch
get
check.
cooked. If not, you might get a bit of a cooked face. With a tan.
Free time.
I'm gonna spend a point
Do
of
you have
sortilege.
like melee
I've got-
combat as a skill?
White
Yeah,
mist
he does
has
have
gone
close
completely
combat.
out the window.
Excellent.
And a point of accuracy, maybe.
Point out.
Yeah, because you punch me in the face. Ooh.
I've put a point of
Sortilege for an
I'll
extra.
make sure Mr.
Sortilege.
Maker Man will never make you anything again.
point of physicality.
No, it's accuracy to.
Let's see. Hidden knowledge. I watched The Matrix.
That's going to make the test harder because the Matrix ain't real. No, you're fine. You don't.
But this is
Hidden
it.
knowledge. You've seen the Matrix. That's fine. Waifu is good.
Am I getting punched in the face?
What was your good roll?
Oh, fuck.
5.
Okay.
No, you're not getting punched in the face because I've. No.
He's getting faced in the punch.
In Soviet Russia!
See, I have 5.
Web downloads you!
Point for training, point for accuracy. So that's 7.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Oh, point for hidden knowledge. There's 8. That's not too bad. It's just there's a bit of flux. That's all.
That's got a little bit of flux.
Does it?
Can I have a tablet for that?
Can it be that my arm glitches out and it's like Fist of the North Star?
So I'll die later then.
I don't know how to do that. I think.
So I've got good news and bad news.
Okay.
Um,
Can I have the bad news first, please?
no.
Ah.
The good news is you punch the spider in the face.
Yeah.
It is successful. Bump, your superheated, mangled rod of an arm parts through the web like butter. It's not a problem at all. Hits the spider creature in the face, and you hear this horrible kind of sizzling noise. You feel that if it wasn't for the fact that you had a superheated arm, it probably wouldn't have bothered the spider all that much because you kind of hit it. The face doesn't sort of rock back with impact. It's more the kind of the heat and the searing and the fleshiness. But that heat and searing and fleshiness also means that the web catches fire spectacularly. You can't dodge this.
No.
You is going to take some fiery damage.
Oh, you.
So, how would damage you work?
How serious is it? It's
Oh,
quite
yeah,
bad.
It's a spider's
Right.
web.
You've
Right,
ruined,
absolutely
you've
not, don't
ruined
I?
my hair.
Well, no,
haven't
it's
you?
a kind of good news and bad news.
Because it's
thing.
kind of like a flash.
Because it's a
isn't it?
spider's web, it's just going to be a flash. So it's not going to be like lingering sort of flames that you're stuck in, but you are going to suddenly get a really bad burn.
First, second degree burns.
Another
Yeah,
kill,
sorry.
sorry.
So yeah,
Another kill, something.
two woundings.
2 woundings.
She can spend physicality to negate one of those 2 wounds. That's what physicality is there for, basically.
Okay, 1 wound.
But it does mean that you're on -1 to every action that you take.
Good news though, you
I
are now.
had another point because it's my son. Does that help anything? No. No.
You still rolled
Do
a
you
0.
want to make the fire hotter? Because that's how you make the fire hotter. No. So the good news though, Hawk, is that you are free and you feel this searing pain as the bits of your flesh that was stuck to the web suddenly just bump.
You've kind of just got like a very minor web tattooing across your face now from where it's
Awesome tattoo.
yeah, awesome tattoo.
Someone looks like Skillet Face. But you were free, and that brings us around to the next round. And as you've just been liberated,
Ooh.
do you want this one or this one?
Bottom of that.
Bottom of that one? The Looming Shade. So the Looming Shade is the 9 of Mysteries. Grey Magic is enhanced.
Oh, grey magic is actually doubly enhanced because that's on the grey sun.
There you go. Double enhanced for Grey Magic. Indigo Magic is diminished. Ghosts and spirits lurk everywhere. Most never interact with mortals. Some shades, however, prey upon mortals looking to feast upon their fear, their flesh, or their very souls. The Looming Shade
Yay!
is almost certainly such a danger. It is terrifying, but it is not just idle fear. The threat is real. The best possible outcome you can hope for is that it's not a horror that appears now, but is yet to come. So perhaps you can prepare for it. But readying for the unseen is always difficult. Even forewarned, how do you expect the unexpected?
Not magic.
So, Hawk, you've just literally gone up in flames and dropped free of the web.
I fall to the floor in pain. I fall to the floor and I was like, ah!
Stop, drop and roll.
So is that literally all you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so you stop, drop and roll.
I know you've
Stumble from the alleyway, you hear these kind of like screams of pain.
Okay. I don't want to get trapped in there. I shout maybe down to you guys what's going on.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just stub your toe! Oh, you stepped on a Lego, haven't you?
Oh, Batman Lego. I should get more points. That nearly come up.
I nearly nose copied.
Get out of there. You're under a glamour. War, war.
Okay.
Get out of here.
So
Can't be a lot of pain.
you hear Snowball's cry coming through. Astraeos, what are you doing? Hawk has literally dropped to the ground in front of you and is kind of.
What about
Hawk is on the floor, kind of doing the Family Guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you fighter!
what about the Spider Robert Smith?
In front of you,
Right.
you see this giant, looming, kind of towering spider. As it comes forwards, its humanish kind of hands are sort of like covering one side of its face. And it's now got the Janosch eye that he's got in the video to Boys Don't Cry. So it looks all inflamed. And you see him kind of rearing up on the back. Lots of his spidery legs and his other spidery legs are all poised to kind of start doing the stabby death.
Teleporter out.
Right, okay. Are those one actions like instant?
That's your action.
That would be your action for the round.
Pick her up. Pick her up with your non-burning hand.
Burning
I can't. I don't have sorcery.
No.
No,
I
pick
just
her up
looked-
physically.
I
You
just
can
realised.
physically run up the stairs.
You just cast Burning Hands on a Dryder.
You can run up the stairs and pick me up and run up the stairs.
Is that something I can do?
Probably. In high
I've got-
adrenaline
I've-
situations,
I've
people
got-
can do these things.
Just realised that I am a nugget, so that all of this adrenaline is probably not good.
I
for
do
my
not
heart.
understand this. I am a nugget. Can you please explain for the old person?
Well, if you remove my metal arms and legs,
He is just a nugget.
You are a man nugget.
I am a man.
So here with this report is a Swedish quadriplegic attached to a donkey.
You are a flesh sack with organs and then metal bits that do the
Yeah.
important parts.
I know what I'm going to do. I am.
Cast Expeditious Retreat.
Do spells cost
levels.
Yeah,
They've
it's
got
only
difficulty.
Lost 6 points.
Just pick me up and run.
Yeah.
You understand now the stresses of combat. And what's very, very easy to do when you're not fighting things is now harder to do.
Yeah.
Pick her up and run.
Bit of a glass cannon, so I'm gonna pick her up and run.
Let's see how glass you are. It's going to be physicality to literally pick somebody up and run with them. You kind of like picking them up in a fireman's carry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fireman's
fireman's
carry.
carry.
Because I don't want to get even more burnt with belly arm.
Okay, and yeah, you've got to do this one-handed, which makes it more difficult.
Gonna
But
put a
it's,
bit of
but, it's,
soft
but,
lotion
it's, but
there.
it's mechanical arm.
Yeah, so
super
it's got the
arm.
Yeah,
mechanical
but
buffness.
it's one of those grabbers from the things that never quite.
Kind of got you.
It's
Yeah,
like-
no.
It's like the robot arm from the beginning of Inner Space that's supposed to pick up the circuit chip and put it in. It's like, and he just gets fed up and picks it and puts it in the thing.
Yeah, so point of physicality and point of swappage. 2 6s.
Splendid. You bend down and yoink and get Caliburn up on your arm, and you spin around on your heel, hook on your arm, and you turn around to face Caliburn, and you're about to leg it up the stairs, and you make it 2 steps, and then suddenly you feel, yeah, as one of these big spidery arms comes through and catches you on the back. Unless
I am
Iron Man.
not quite going to unveil my
Thanos.
secret soul. Pronounce my true name, which I haven't this time. And strangely enough, I wrote the page and I put my secret soul. Just the right amount of space after it. This game is totally not magic. My secret soul is the blade. The blade is swift and full of action and initiative. It acts with precision, skill, and at time even intuition. The blade is so sharp and so precise that it can cut to heal as well as to harm. When the time comes, cut. Cut without mercy, cut without hesitation, cut with purpose, cut with intent. Whatever has been started, end it. So I kind of step in, he takes the 2 steps, this thing comes towards me, and it kind of freezes in one of those kind of whole anime transition moments. No 5 episodes of shouting. Just before I go Super Saiyan, Super God level 3, 12 Cyan Blue X, EX,
Over 9,000.
turbocharge. The silver blade in my hand becomes the idealised and stylised kind of perfection of swords. So as you look at it, it is Excalibur, and it's the Master Sword, and it's the Buster Sword, and it's like the perfect edition of Sharp. It's Masamune's blade, it's whatever. And I stand forward, take 1 step in, and with 1 stroke, slice upwards, so kind of through the body of this thing, and taking the leg off as well.
You
Splendido.
kind of, like, from the top of the stairs, jump down.
No, I was down at the bottom of the stairs
Oh.
anyway.
So,
You kind of duck down around or
Yeah.
something.
can you roll, please?
Yes.
Go.
So we're going to say point of sorties for the extra dice, point of accuracy, because I need it on that one there. That costs me 1 crux to activate that. You 3 all now know my secret true name.
Ooh.
Yes, that's quite a big thing.
Which was
Fred.
What? I haven't actually worked out exactly what
Oh,
it
okay.
was yet.
Caliburn's pretty cool. How can you get cooler than that?
I'll get the Scrabble back out later.
Okay.
Take it from there. So effectively, I'm on 1 point for my skill training, 4 points because it's a level 4 weapon.
Yep.
There's 5 plus 1 for the point of accuracy. There's 6. The blade, whilst active, gives me +3 to attacks and +3 damage until the sun next sets. So there's +9.
Is the sun enhancing you?
This sun is not enhancing me at the moment. I am Secrets and the Mystery Sun.
Okay.
Is on for it. So you get +9 to this.
Okay.
So okay, what level is it? Or I'm going to roll dice anyway.
Just roll them.
Yeah. Pair of 5s. So there's effectively a pair of
We've had a-
14s.
We've had 2 pairs in a row.
14 will do it quite nicely. The blade doesn't even seem to move. 1 minute it's kind of down at the side, and the next minute it's at the end of your cut. And it's so sharp that for a second the spider doesn't even seem to notice it. And then the leg kind of drops off, and it looks at the leg kind of confused, and then its kind of body spills open, and this ichor and bile kind of starts pouring out. And then the whisper that you're all hearing turns into this really kind of high-pitched sort of, shriek, almost like the sound of a kettle boiling on the stove. And the spider sort of recoils backwards into the darkness, and you can see that not only is it recoiling, it's shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until it gets lost in the darkness in front of you. But you suddenly feel this sort of like sense of relief.
Still get out.
I'm still being carried by thingy up the stairs.
Combat is over. You can just feel that.
I can feel that, but I'm still.
No, it's like when you fight Genova. No victory music.
You take a walk up and out the stairs, and I walk up the stairs, just trailing this silver sword.
Mm-hmm.
As I get to the top of the stairs, I just kind of sink down to my knees, drop this sword, and pitch over forwards, and curl up in a ball and start crying.
Aww.
And that is where we're going to end it.
Fucking awesome!
How did Caliban find today? Actually, no, that isn't quite where we're going to end it. That clapping noise can be heard, and you kind of turn and look to the end of the alley, and there's Matthew McConaughey, there, kind of looking down at you. And he's got his big Matthew McConaughey, shit-eating grin. Oh man, that was a sight. That was a sight. Indeed it was. One thing I'm wondering though. Where's Roland? This was for him. Where's Roland? Where's Roland? He has something of mine. Where is Roland?
I just wake up and go, well, he's not here, and that was a waste of time.
You're still on my shoulders.
Yeah,
you're upside down.
I am. You know that.
You're so
Because I'm
distraught.
so mad.
And suddenly he seems to compose himself, and all of the anger that's there is gone, and he's suddenly like really affable and sort of like, well, I suggest you find him. And he kind of turns with a flourish of his coat, and then he's not there. He doesn't walk off, just, and he's gone. And there is where we will end.
With the swish of his cape.
We met him before, sorry.
He was at the bar
He was
at
the
the
one
beginning,
that-
and he's the one that said now, and it all
With
happened,
the,
and he has
with
a
the 19
Roman
tattoo on.
numerals of 19 tattooed in the kind of web of his hand.
He's a bit dim. If he had been all for Roland, he would have seen it wasn't there before starting it. Does he not know who Roland is?
Oh, he knows who Roland is.
He's the demon that was in Roland's head.
Turns out Roland has been with us the entire time. He's just been watching us. Just
Don't
in
know,
a,
though,
just
that's
a
the thing.
second out of
So
time.
we know Roland's been off doing his thing, but we don't know where he is, though.
Maybe 19 thinks that Roland is just hiding.
Yeah.
Maybe 19 is looking for Roland and can't find him, but was hoping that by doing something to you it would draw him out.
Possibly.
Maybe he's not really looking for Roland and he just wants to play games with your head. So, wrap up. Caliban.
Fighting and the whole sword play thing is what she does.
Mhm.
Apostates, basically, you can build them as consummate spellcasters, or you can build them as anti-magic people. They've all got an ability to dispel magic, whatever. Caliburn is the kind of melee build for it. And for all of that, I made one strike. That is both a good thing and a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I reached in and revealed my secret soul to do so, I believe is a good thing, because I have stood in defence of my colleagues and my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite a big thing for Caliburn to trust people enough with that information. It is almost actually a bigger thing for her to have broken down in tears in front of you. Not a thing that she does often or readily. So in general speaking, are good. Arcs, nothing. There's no way I can justify any of that.
What are your arcs?
Cementing yourself with the order of the Order of the Rose.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
rescued them.
Well, one of my arcs is join an organisation that would have me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Well, that's a
I-
step
I
towards
think-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a step towards it. Strauss.
Bye bye arm, bye bye half the neighbourhood.
Well, I've made development in both of my arcs. One of them is a back pedal to repay a debt.
You got this arm you gave me. You got another one.
Don't want this one with that one.
And I feel like I've probably learned a bit more about my spider weave because I've punched spider.
Because you've punched a spider, therefore by the transitive properties you know more about
Well,
spider.
I don't know,
I'm
it's,
entirely sure that was
It's not a real
typical
spider, though, that's the thing.
but that's the thing. Because I started to learn it off of the Lunated Fong.
Mhm.
Who was kind of in that same transition phase as Robert Smith's spider.
But was he?
RSFP in my world.
But is he though?
Ah, so I take it I haven't done.
Hook.
Savage.
Um,
And I don't get any.
nowhere across my
Arcs.
my arcs or anything, but pretty crappy because I'm scarred, and I pride myself in my.
You don't know that yet. You've just had some
Oh.
flash burns.
That's true. Aha, that's all I know. Some dudes after Roland. Oh, I'm pissed.
It's 19. You know that 19 was
Was already
was the demon in Roland. So it's not some dude.
I don't. This dude, Matthew McConaughey, after Roland.
McConaughey.
McConaughey.
TM.
He was a douche. So.
Was he in fact a douche canoe?
If he had a mobile with him, he would be on douche cam.
Wow. Snowball. I would give you a joy for the shooty of Orson, and it's good to know that you're skilled, but we are out of tokens. I want to make a note, because I think that's probably a...
Have you got any spare tokens? You had some ones with just numbers on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
If you have a joy token already, I
Yeah.
have a 2 joy token here.
Okay. I'm going to exchange my joy token
There
for
we
a
go.
2 joy token.
Yeah, I think that the old Jason Bourne super shooty skills
That
as well.
was-
That was awesome.
That was
Yeah,
kind
that
of
was
cool. That
Cool
was
guys
cool.
don't look at explosions or exploding zombies. Same. But I didn't make any progress in my arcs at all.
It's not really that kind of session.
No. It's fine. It was the most enjoyable session. Thank you.
Glad you enjoyed it. I did not get to munch any of you with my zombies.
Is that a point of GM despair?
No, it's okay, because I did get to unleash Robert Smith Spider on everybody.
Yeah, that was terrifying.